following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Such as Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Dane Fox.
At 7:30 in the morning beside the Wayne Street parking lot.
Around the campus. Good evening and welcome to the first broadcast of this semester. At the end of last week, due to concerns of Hurricane Joaquin making landfall on Delmarva, the decision was made to cancel Seagull Century. The annual bike ride, which brings riders from all across the country and raises thousands of dollars for charities and scholarships, won't take place until next year. For the impact of the cancellation on the university and on the surrounding area, we go to SUTV's Allison Haley.
Classes aren't the only thing that Hurricane Joaquin canceled. The annual community event Seagull Century was called off. According to the founding director of Beacon, Dr. Memo Derricker, Seagull Century brings approximately $2.5 to $3 million to Salisbury and surrounding areas in total. We spoke to the chair of Seagull Century, Amy Waters, about why the event was called off rather than postponed.
We all wanted to put it on, you know, it's such a great event and rallying the community and boost the economy.
To be exact.
And it is. If you're not involved in Seagull Century, it's not just for SU. SU is the host, and we kind of are the manpower behind it, but it's bigger than that. It's a tri-county. We have about 4 towns, little towns that we go through. So to postpone something like that and to have a rain date, more than impossible to try to do.
We also spoke to students and members of the community about how the cancellation impacted their anticipated weekend.
It did impact our business. It was unfortunate, and we definitely missed their business. They come every year. We were about 100% occupied with the anticipation of some arrivals for Seagull Century. Once the storm hit and the cancellation was official, we went down to about 40%. That was not just our hotel, that's like citywide.
I purchased a new road bike, which was just about $500 out of my own pocket. I fundraised and had family and community members support me. Over $300 was raised. All the money that I raised is still going to Women Supporting Women, the organization I was riding with. However, my own purchase of the bike, it will stay in my house and I'll ride it in the future. Around, I don't know, 800 or so basically was riding on this.
Seagull Century is an event that we look forward to every year. It's unfortunate that we didn't have the visitors for 2015, but we look forward to seeing them again in 2016.
However, there was a positive side to the cancellation.
We worked with Halo Ministries, which is right here in the Salisbury area. It's a homeless shelter for families, males and females. They offer it to anyone. So they're well known, and we donated about $9,000 worth of food. It was 2 box trucks that went over, and they picked up, and they're going to be serving the homeless here. And probably the next 3 months, they'll be able to dive in and use some of that food. So that was rewarding to see that our purchases that we wanted for this weekend didn't go to waste. That's being used.
For SUTV News, I'm Allison Haley.
Thanks, Allison. The foundation estimates that there will be about 5 scholarships available to students this year. This is roughly half of what they usually offer. Next year's Century is scheduled for October the 8th. And on Monday, the Salisbury City Council agreed to table discussion of Mayor Jim Ireton's rent stabilization plan that he hoped would help to put a cap on rent in the city.
Rent stabilization's time has come in Salisbury. You have over 2,700 families that are paying over 50% of their income just to live, here in the city limits. Another 1,300 that are paying over 30% of their income to live inside city limits. What we have is far too many properties that are making an incredible amount of rent off the people who live there when the assessment of the property is so low. What's that mean in plain terms? Property looks like crap, but they're still getting $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month rent. It's all over Salisbury.
Now that plan, which received heavy resistance from the business community as well as local landlords and members of the real estate community, was met with all but university disdain from those who spoke during Monday night's city council meeting. For the mayor's proposed legislation to become policy, it would have had to been taken up and approved by the new city council after they take office on November 16th. While a number of current council members and candidates have voiced their opposition to the ordinance, the mayor, who is running for a seat on the council, has pledged to keep the matter alive. That election will take place on November 3rd and will be the first in which the council will be elected from the newly redrawn districts. In the coming weeks, we'll be bringing you sit-down interviews with candidates from each district to give you a better idea on their stance on various important issues facing the city. Tonight, we bring you a portion of our interview with City Council President Jacob Day, who is running unopposed in his race for mayor. As mayor, do you have plans to decrease the rent?
Well, as mayor, do I have plans to decrease the rent? No.
Or will you have
Yeah,
plans?
no. No, rent is something that is market dictated in every community in this country. I mean, it exists everywhere, and you know, I'll control that as much as I control the price of bananas in Salisbury. You know, is healthy eating important? Yes, absolutely. Is eating bananas important? Yes, absolutely. Does that mean that we will dictate the price of them within our city limits in order to ensure that people have better access to bananas? No.
Anything you'd like to add to students, residents of Salisbury, voters, and even those who are in the surrounding community?
We've all got to have a little better self-esteem when it comes to Salisbury. We've all got to be a little more excited about the things that can happen and are possible in this place. And that's the only thing that has ever worked for making places great, is believing that it's possible and pursuing it vigorously. I believe that I'm the guy to pursue it, to lead that pursuit, to take action. But as a team, as a community, we all have to believe in it.
This semester, we've seen a spike in complaints about student parties in city limits. In the school's continuing effort to improve relations between the university and the surrounding community, on Tuesday night, the university hosted a town council meeting at nearby Bethany Lutheran Church. The meeting was a chance for residents to voice their concerns with school officials.
They stop in Salisbury, and usually, I mean, we offer them. What's going to happen? You know, it's the old SUTV Allied. That you're doing outreach so that.
It's important for me to come out because I grew up in this community, and I've also been a student at Salisbury for 4 years now, and I know what it's like from both sides, and I think that there's a lot that can be done by opening up communication and building mutual respect between community members and students who are living in their neighborhoods.
There has been a perception for a number of years that Salisbury University has let these parties, these student parties, happen and then have no repercussions for their students, not holding them accountable. That's not true. We actually have mechanisms in place to address these issues.
Really, this falls on the landlords, to be honest. The university can only do so much. However, the landlords have a lot of responsibility, I think, in this matter.
People hear about events like this and they don't consider themselves to be community members, and I think that that's a lot of what will help address the issues that residents are facing, is involving students in the community, making them feel like they are a part of it so that they want to treat their community better.
And now we're joined on set by SGA President Tyler Gibson, who was at that meeting. You were there with SGA's External Affairs Vice President as well.
Yeah.
Tyler, you heard so many complaints about student parties. There were some compliments as well. What was your overall takeaway from the meeting?
I think that community relations between community members and the university and the students is increasing in positivity. There's always going to be the few complaints that neighbors have because they've lived in the area for a really long time and they've seen good students in the past, and then if there's just one or two problems, then it kind of taints the image a little bit. But overall, I think that it's a positive relationship overall. They see that we do a lot of community service in the community, like Big Event in I Love Salisbury, and they like that. It's just the occasional rowdy night that gets them a little bit upset.
We did. We heard one of Tim Spees, who's a resident. He's a city council member, and he's running again this year. He talked about that improvement. What do you think has created that improvement, and what role do you think the students and SGA has played in that?
I think the improvement stems from our commitment to community service. Over the past few years, we've really doubled our community service efforts. We just started off with Big Event and I Love Salisbury, so we used to only have one, but now we have one each semester to kind of keep the community service there and in the face of the community members. Additionally, we've been holding community meetings. This was the second one, so I think extending the hand to the community members and saying this is the process that you can go through if you have a situation where students may be unruly or just a little bit on your nerves, that really gives them some satisfaction of the university gives you these resources. We're not turning a blind eye and turning our cheek away from the situations. The university does handle them, and the community members really enjoy the university taking it seriously. And the SGA is always in the community. We run the community service events. We occasionally accompany Dr. Dane Faust, the Vice President of Student Affairs, in his door knocking campaign of where he hands out literature to neighbors. And we're just really here to make sure that the atmosphere on both sides, university and neighborhood, is a positive one.
Just last thing on this topic, but we do know that complaints in the city are up regarding parties. Do you think that that's a thing where there's just a new wave of a certain level of certain students that like to party a bit more, or do you think that maybe that the mechanisms that are in place are working so well that citizens have the numbers at their hand a bit easier and they're calling in more? There's not necessarily more parties, but they're just getting in touch with the school more frequently.
I think there are trends. I know when incoming freshman classes come in for the first few weeks, they're really excited to experience college life, and with college life, of course, is parties. Sometimes it coincides with Greek rush weeks, which it doesn't make the situation any better, but it's part of student life. And I think that we do have all these resources available for community members to voice their complaints. Since we're making it more accessible for them, it might result in more complaints overall. But I think it's just there's trends. Springs typically are less complaint-filled, and falls just tend to be more complaint-filled.
I can't let you go without asking you about homecoming. I know you work hard on it. The SGA works hard on it. So many at the school work hard on it. What are you most excited about in the coming weekend? What did you work most hard on?
Well, right in the middle of homecoming week, I literally just ran over here from Battle of the Bands, hosted by WXSU. It was a great event, huge student turnout, great bands. I'm really looking forward to this Saturday, which is our second annual parade, which is going to be bigger and better than last year, and last year was really good. Immediately followed by our block party in the intramural fields. There's going to be entertainment, games. I specifically voiced my opinion for hula dancers and fire performers because it's a luau theme. So it's going to be bigger and better than last year, and I'm really excited for all the excitement that students are giving it as well.
Always a pleasure to have you on, Tyler.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now for a look at some of that homecoming weekend weather, we go to Scott Purdy with a forecast.
Thank you, Eli. Yes, as you can see, we haven't had a lot of active weather today. This is a map from NOAA. You can see that we have high pressure off to our east. That right there is keeping us in a weather pattern without activity, but that's going to change this weekend, but don't change your plans just yet. This is our current conditions. We're at 68 degrees right now. We have winds light and variable. We reached 75 degrees today as a high, so we didn't reach anywhere near the records, somewhere around the average. This is our map for Thursday. You can see a weak cold front pushing through, but this is going to fizzle away, and it's going to have very little effect as to what our weather is for Thursday. What it's going to do is move high pressure off to the east yet again and set up this front that's going to come through on Friday. Now this front's going to come through fast. This is about 8 a.m. It's going to come through Illinois fast for us. Should hit us around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. So we might see a little bit of rain on Friday as far as the barbecue goes, but other than that, it's going to get through the night, and it's going to end early on Saturday. This is the low pressure off to the east of us in the ocean. We also have the cold front totally past us, so there is going to be some cloud cover. We have some northeasterly flow coming down through here, which is going to keep moisture and cloud cover in here. Then we have our homecoming weekend schedule. The barbecue could get a little bit of rain towards the end, but it's going to be sunny for most of the day. Clouds moving in right before the rain. Then the block party and the parade, they might get a little sprinkle in the morning. I'm not going to rule that out, but the football game and the soccer game should be mostly cloudy and then clearing through those games. Sunday, if your parents are coming down for Parents Weekend, please plan outdoor activities. It's going to be a beautiful day, and enjoy that. The game day, as far as it is, it's going to be some wet grounds, but it should be dry during the games. Going to be clouds at the start, hopefully clearing out during, as the clouds can burn off some, or the sun can burn off some of those clouds. We then have our 5-day forecast. You can see the PM showers on Friday coming in from that cold front. It cools off on Saturday. It may not reach 66 degrees. It depends on whether those cloud covers clear. We do have rain a little bit in Saturday morning, but I think it'll end early before the sun even comes up. But don't rule out a shower during the parade. Then Sunday, going to be a couple clouds lingering. Beautiful day all around. And then Monday, we're going to start a nice week off into the October pattern.
Thanks, Scott. Last week, newly appointed University System of Maryland Chancellor Robert Carrot visited the Salisbury University campus to meet with faculty, staff, and alumni to discuss his plans for the University System of Maryland and SU. We spoke with him and SU's president, Dr. Janet Dudley Eschbach.
Every campus, like every home, has a whole series of issues that are not being addressed in the way they would like to address them. And so part of my job is to listen to that and sort of working with the board, prioritize and figure out how we can help each campus. We're an enterprise that is here. It's a human development enterprise. And you want that experience to be a very solid educational experience. So the buildings help, and they're necessary, and the faculty are obviously necessary, and the staff are obviously necessary. So you need the operating and capital. But you know, you don't have to be the richest campus in the world to do a good job on the spiritual side. And so what I look at is both of those, you know, and where can I place some energy to make both of those things better.
His coming, I think, it puts a face on the university system. He's a dynamic, straight-talking academician, and he brings new vision and new energy to the system. It's really an exciting time.
The campus has been a buzz about the Academic Commons, what will be the newest building on SU's campus. As with anything new, there are a number of questions as to what will be in the building and when students will get to enjoy all that comes with a new state-of-the-art facility. That does it for us this week. We hope you'll join us next time. For everyone here at SUTV News, thank you for joining us, and good night. Such as Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Dane Price.
7:30 in the morning beside the Wayne Street parking lot.
Around the campus. Tonight, SUTV's Brooke Reese gives us a look up close inside the Patricia Argereri Academic Commons.
The newest addition to the Salisbury University campus has experienced many changes since we last saw it. Terry Roy, the project manager for the Academic Commons, gave SUTV an exclusive first look inside the new building.
The building itself, in terms of the construction, obviously is much farther along. The outside, as you can see, is nearly done and should be not finished, but at least completely enclosed by November 1st, which is when they're planning to turn the HVAC on.
Dean of Libraries Beatrice Hardy explains what the updated space will mean for her library staff.
There's a ton we still need to do, but we're eager to be in the new space and have the new classrooms and technology and facilities available.
With over 180 employees hired to complete the project by next fall, the drywall, electric, and masonry are coming along quickly. An outdoor patio, a 4-story atrium, and a 24-hour space with a cafe can be enjoyed by students this time next year.
We are ready to go. It's really going to make, I think, a huge difference on campus.
Now, the new Academic Commons building is still projected to be opened next fall, and we'll be sure to give you more updates in the spring as more is completed on this project. For SUTV Evening News, this is Brooke Reese reporting.
That does it for us this week. We hope you'll join us next time. For everyone here at SUTV News, thank you for joining us, and good night. Such as Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Dane Price.
7:30 in the morning beside the Wayne Street parking lot.